Hey, what's up guys, Wraith here. We're going to be taking out the Gray's Market Basher through the Gillies Combat Gauntlet scenarios. Shout out to the LS Engines back in Seoul. I see you with the long tube headers right there. Aside from that, I mean, this is a crazy looking ship and it flies very well. I mean, the wind is blown out. You have a piece of metal that is now used to get in. Now if that piece of metal breaks and you hit your side, or you scratch yourself, or you gouge yourself on this jagged edges of the wing, you're getting tetanus. Hands down, you're getting tetanus. You need a tetanus shot so you don't get gangrene. Now, with that out of the way, that crane is insane. I love the crane. And usually for the shivs, I do love the stock color. I think the stock color, like the way it comes, it's perfect. It's giving me like, you get a car guy and then you put him in a salvage yard in Tatooine, and you're like, hey, I need you to build me something light. You know, don't worry about armor. I need like as much weapons as you can fit on. Nothing too heavy, something light that could just be devastating. Get in and get out. And that's exactly what this person did. They got the rear end of the Aurora series. And look at that. That is a plating of the Avenger Titan. And that yellow hose, that's where you refuel the ship. That's crazy. I love that. Yep, that's where it goes. Now, aside from that, has the rear end of the Aurora. Now it's the front end. The wings of the Gladius, the engines of the Buck, and here are the Death Roll S2 size 2 ballistic Gatlings. You got 2 of them. Here you have the Snapper S2 size 2 laser repeaters. You have 4 of them. Now, it's an insane ship. Really insane. Now, if you lose an engine, it is a drastic change in the way that you fly the ship. Or one of the engines are damaged, you know, you're balancing its agility, its durability, and weapon systems all at one. And I feel like they nailed it. CIG nailed this. So shout out to the person that like does the ship balancing. This ship and the M80, in my opinion, its maneuverability and maybe its weapon system, because that seems like a specific ship for a specific purpose. They fly well. Like they don't feel overpowered, you know. And I know there's going to be balancing in the future, but for now, it's a crazy looking ship. Here we have a fan that's used, a cooling fan for all these computer components down there. And, you know, when you're flying the ship, keep your feet away from that. You don't want to kick that. Trust me. I mean, it is definitely different from what I'm used to. Overriding permissions. I love that. It's like they jailbroke MFDs and they're just like, yep, we could do that. All right, setting up the way I like to fight. Mind you, this is stock components. So we're gonna get called to arms. So you get like, you know, some money for every criminal that you kill. So that's not bad. I mean, mind you, there's people that have millions, hundreds of millions. I only have like 600,000. I don't think I'm gonna get any money doing this, but we will see. All right, so obviously this is my first video. And I do apologize, guys. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm learning to basically, you know, play Star Citizen, record it, and then trying to learn to edit and then post it. And I'm sorry, I'm trying my best to, do it as, what I think is best and what needs to be shown, in my opinion. But you guys let me know, would you like to see shorter videos, or do you appreciate this video in its entirety? You guys let me know. Let's see what this ship can do. We're going to be flying through the transit system here. I mean, I feel I should be flying like vertically, like this. But the fact that I'm able to fly normally through those pillars is not bad. It goes to show this ship is very, very small. And it's fun to fly, honestly. It's fun to fly. It is really fun to fly, like, in Atmo. So quick stats for the ship, real quick. It is, the vital health of the ship is 1300. So it is super, super glassy. It's 11.3 meters in width, 13.7 meters in length, and 4.5 meters in height, which is super small. Although it's super small, it is considered a size 2 ship. Now, with that said, it has a pitch of 67 degrees per second. Boosted is 80. A yaw of 50 degrees per second, and boosted of 60. A roll is 205 a second and 246 boosted. Now the SCM speed is 220, which is really not bad. The max speed is 1180 in nav mode. Boosting all the way to 500. Backwards is 24 meters a second. This ship is not meant to go backwards. This ship is meant to go forward, and just that's it. It has 4 SCU of hydrogen fuel and 1.3 SCU of quantum fuel. Now hear this, hear this. You hear that? It's cammed out. Now let's see if we can hear it from the inside. I can't tell, but anyway, we have an armor of 1600, a deflection of 8 for the physical, and 6 for energy. So it really, there is nothing that could stop any sort of weapon besides player weapons. And yeah, I just targeted myself, which is crazy. The lamp is very bright. It's not like too saturated. It is easy to fight in. Yeah, it's not too like blinding as long as you don't look at the sun. You're gonna see that, you know, I do feel like it needs a lot more rounds.
Congratulations. Target is destroyed.
All targets neutralized. Catch your breath. The next one is on its way.
Contact.
when you're fighting, you want to be anywhere between 400 and 700 meters. And again, as you're fighting, you want that pip always going up on your ship, right? You want to keep rolling and keeping that pip up so you're able to hit your target as effectively as possible. That's what I found out that works, in my opinion. And that is a Perseus. I will keep my distance.
Hostiles heading to your position. Prepare to engage.
Now here, because the arrow has size... Ooh, I forgot that I was not in SCM. There we go. So when you're fighting an arrow, it has 2 size 3s and 2 size 1s, right? Well, the size 1s really don't really matter. I don't want to get hit with size 3s, and I don't know if it has ballistics. I don't know its loadout. I do believe it has some type of it looks like it had some NDBs or something like that, or distortions. Anyway, that ship has to be taken out as fast as possible.
Target is destroyed.
Now, let's say if you were fighting a medium fighter and you had 2 light fighters, I would focus on the light fighters. They move faster, they're more agile. In my opinion, that's what I would do. Like here, we should focus on boosting towards the ship, as well as boosting to keep that pip, you know, going up, and also keeping track of its leaving, getting prepared for that joust. Try to pre-nose, and that's things that I try to work on. But when you're like fighting, you're not really thinking about that type of movement. Now, my concern is if I were to chase him, am I going to lose the mission? I do not like going out of the mission area, so I ended up like breaking away from him and headed towards the opposite heading. Yeah, see here, I'm just like, alright. I black out here. Now fighting a fresh Mustang, which the Mustang is really tanky. But if you stay on him, you're able to put enough damage on him and just be like... There we go.
Congratulations. Target is destroyed.
There we go. We started the Gillies mission with 3,500 rounds, and now I'm at 1129. Yeah, I did try to stay within the mission area. Mind you, you're doing all of this, you have to be aware of the asteroids around you. And that's why I don't joust. I do try to like turn, and you know, I do try to fly towards the ship, but to keep that circle tight, but
Congratulations.
I'm not trying to joust or anything. I end up jousting into an asteroid, and that wouldn't be a good time. Here we're at Port Tressler with 860 rounds in both ballistic Gatlings. So I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna rearm. I'm also going to remove the crane for those of you who might not like the crane, so you could see how it looks and how it flies. Now, personally, I love the crane. I think it looks cool.
Engines offline.
Everybody has their preferences, and let's just see. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, that looks good. Now that looks like a pod racer. Exactly what I said about Tatooine. That looks like an awesome pod racer, and it's surprisingly symmetrical, which is not what I really expected. Personally, I don't like it being busted at the wing because I feel like I can never repair that. And I know it's part of the ship, which is fine. It doesn't change its flight, but it's like kind of like, ugh, you know what I mean? Like it feels like it's damaged when it's really not. But that's just my preference, guys.
Now, light 'em up.
Okay, now obviously I am recording my voice over the video. At this moment in time, I did not think I was going to penetrate the medium fighter. So that's why I kind of let a couple of shots loose, and I realized I couldn't tell. So I'm also glad for these, like, you know, like I understand that the game is changing, and, you know, weapon penetration, all that stuff has changed, but these crosshair indicators really make a big difference when these changes are applied and you don't know if you're penetrating ships or if you're doing anything to the ship, really. Not bad. You see, that's kind of concerning, but now it seems like I broke through something. I'm not getting that no penetration icon. Yes, I am. My bad. But the fact that I'm not getting it the whole time, it makes me feel like I am actually doing some type of damage. There it is. Alright, see, that makes me feel good. That got me to be a little bit more aggressive towards the target. Because this is not a bounty, this is just like a gauntlet. Like,
Shield system is hit.
yeah, you see, like, that is something that I do not like doing. I do not like jousting. Not if I can help it. The only time you want to joust is when your shields are down and you guys going at each other. You joust and you just keep going forward and wait till your shields regen. Nice.
Target is destroyed.
Clear up, and I got more coming your way.
I mean, that is a lot of rounds to be used during one single fight. And mind you, I am probably not being as accurate as I could be. So that's, you know, work on my end to having to balance that type of fight. Like right now, look, there's the cores. Again, the cores are my priority because of it having a lot of weapons. But the moment I realized that these razors have ballistic scatter guns, it kind of changed the way that I am engaging these fighters in priority.
Congratulations. Target is destroyed.
I thought it was a razor. Maybe I was confused. Mind you, I know that if I were to have a flight suit, it would probably be a lot easier with the G's. But I'm just wearing combat armor because that's what I'm used to. Which, you know, there is a net benefit to wearing a flight suit because your pilot can handle a lot more G's. Nice. There we go.
Press the other pilots out there.
Now I have 919 rounds after that fight. So we're going to head to Port Tressler, and we're going to rearm again. Now let's see how much it costs to rearm at this much. $510 plus 151. That's not bad, especially when you're doing multiple missions at a time.
Let everyone notice.
Or even if you're doing, that's like less than 600 credits every time that you are doing one mission.
Looks like you got intel. Weapons free.
Contact.
Now during this fight, you have one F7 versus 3 Razors. Again, stressing out, taking out the light fighters first, because I believe these light fighters had ballistic scatter guns. And I do not want to get shredded by 3 of them taking runs at me while I'm trying to take out the F7. So my priority right now is to take them out. See, I was like trying to weave, but you cannot weave a ballistic scatter gun.
Congratulations. Target is destroyed.
Yeah, that definitely looked like a scatter gun. Yeah. So one of the things, guys, when you're fighting, like, again, you know, do as I say, not as I do, is, you know, you're trying to boost while you're trying to catch up to them. You're boosting when you're trying to, you know, have that pip going at a 12 o'clock, you know, going upwards 12 o'clock like that. Right? You see how I'm trying to roll and keep that pip up, but I'm missing a lot of my shots. That is how you become a really good pilot. Mind you, there are going to be times where if you're doing these ghillie missions and like the AI is not like it's not detecting you, or just it's completely like just still. I mean, as long as it doesn't happen all the time, don't get used to that. You know what I mean? When you get it, you're like, awesome, free money, you know, but just always expect some type of like decent resistance. That's one thing I do love is that during these patch cycles, everybody like, you know, ends up doing like these main missions. When that happens, I like to do these missions now when they're more of a challenge, and then when like, you know, the TGS and other things like die down, that's when the NPCs are really good there. So when that happens, then I'll start doing these events and actually have fun, and not having so many people to the point that these ships become like kind of like just slow, you know? Now here, I did my best to try to take it out. I don't think anything is hitting. The only thing that's being like hit, as you can see through the hit markers, is just a shield. And I'm thinking either this ship has a lot of armor, or my weapons are just not doing any damage to it. Which is fine, you know. I just decided to stay here and test this. And, you know, just kind of have fun with it. Here I'm trying to change group 1 and 2. And I realized that I might not be able to do group 1 and 2 because on my sticks, I just have fire all, you know? So, it is what it is. But considering this is a huge ship, and these laser repeaters are so quick to reload, and it does pretty good damage to the shields, you know? If you fly 2 of these ships, again, I don't know what size 2 weapons could penetrate armor and do damage, but if you can have, you know, a friend with you and you guys decide to do these missions together, one of you could do a complete laser loadout. You can give, you know, 2 of your laser repeaters to one pilot, and then the other pilot can put ballistic you know, cannons or something, or even some stronger laser cannons that could completely go through the armor and hull. But I mean, there's a way to do it, you know. Here I'm just trying to land hits to stop it from reloading. Yeah, here I just realized I might not be able to do that, so I try one more time to get the. Yeah, by the way, those are size 4s. I'm not trying to get hit with none of that. So here I'm trying to take him out. Not trying to take him out, but you know, I'm trying to see what type of damage I could do if I could take that shield down and then continue to apply damage. Because I do see like me doing some hit markers, and I think it's probably because I'm hitting weapon components, or I'm hitting the turret. Because you might not be able to do damage to the hull, but you're still able to do damage to the weapon parts and stuff like that. I don't know if you could damage engines or anything, but... yeah, I'm not going to get through. But I don't expect to get through with size 2 weapons. Maybe if I had size 3s, maybe I could do some damage, maybe not a lot, but probably waste a long time trying to take the ship out. I mean, it's a decent ship. It's a super agile light fighter. It is good. You guys let me know if it's worth it. Personally, I think it's worth it. I love the way the ship flies. I love the way it sounds. And it hits a certain vibe, you know? I hope you guys really do enjoy this type of videos. I'm going to be making more. Guys, let me know in the comments, what ship do you want to see next? 07 citizens, and I'll see you guys out there.